How y'all doing today? I'm back with another video, and for this video I'm gonna address a question that was asked to me on Instagram, and let's get right down into it. The question was, I just wanted to get some personal insight in regards to the nutrition and dietetics field. I have always had a strong passion for nutrition and often consider going back to become an RD. I know the path is lengthy and an expensive one, especially when factoring the dietetic internship and soon to be master's requirement. I do have a BS in health promotion from years ago, so I'm not sure if that would shorten the program for me or not. Unfortunately, with a degree in health promotion, you're probably gonna have to go back to school and do at least 2 years to do like the upper level dietetics coursework if you do decide to become a dietitian. And she also said, anyhow, I just wanted your personal input on your experience with the RD profession. Pros, cons, job security, or any other benefits or frustrations you may have encountered. Many have suggested that I go the nursing route, but it's hard to ignore my interest and fascination with food science. Anyhow, hope all is well with you and yours, and thanks for all the wonderful plant-based posts and resources. All right. And so I'm not sure why I haven't done a video like this going explaining the pros and cons of dietetics from my point of view, but let's do that. And so let's first start off with the pros. And this is just my opinion from my experience, and I'm gonna go through them. The first is working in a stress-free environment. Dietetics, being a dietitian, it's a very stress-free profession. Like I'm never stressed out. Some dietitians may disagree with that, but I really don't understand what part of our job will have you stressed and regretting going to work every morning unless you're dealing with the wrong people or you have coworkers that you don't like. But just the work itself is not stress. And that's a huge benefit, man, because even if you get paid a lot, if you're dealing with a job that's stressing you out, it's gonna make you go elsewhere. The second pro, I would say, the work is relatively easy. Like once you become a dietitian and you actually get situated and get experience, you kind of realize that teaching about healthy eating, even if it's with different populations that are sick, it kind of, once you know it, it's kind of like you know it, and it's not really intellectually challenging. If you go into the field of maybe pediatrics and dealing with kids in the ICU and dealing with all those specialties, it may be a little more challenging, but for the most part, once you get the hang of it, it's not really that hard intellectually, from my opinion. Another pro would be there's various specialties in which you can go after. So you can be a clinical dietitian, food service, work in pharmaceutical sales, do community. You can be a renal dietitian, sports dietitian. Like, it's pretty much a lot of things you can choose from, specialty wise in nutrition. And to kind of piggyback on that, another benefit is just the pretty much unlimited opportunities for entrepreneurship in dietetics. So you can start blogs like I do, vlogs on YouTube. You can do private consulting, open up your own private practice. You can do online consulting. You can do meal prepping. You can write books. You can get really popular on social media, taking pictures of food that you cook. Like, the possibilities is endless. And compared to other healthcare professionals, they don't have this type of opportunity with entrepreneurship. So I think that's a very good benefit of becoming a dietitian. Also, job security is a very good benefit of being a dietitian. So I looked up the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and from the job outlook from 2016 to 2026, it's expected that this career path is going to have a 15% increase, and that's much faster than average. And so I was like, let me see how this compares to other healthcare professionals. And we all know that nurses, everybody's looking for a nurse. That may be the most job secure profession. And so I looked at their expected growth. the nurses' expected growth was 15% as well. So think about it, even though there's going to be a lot more nurses hired, when you put it in perspective, the dietetics, in dietetics, we're growing just as fast as nursing. So we're going to be just as in demand as nursing. So job security shouldn't be an issue with dietetics, which is really good. And I've never heard of a dietitian getting laid off from work. So that's good. And I think my last one was, you usually don't have to work weekends and a lot of holidays. And this kind of depends on where you work at. If you do clinical route, you may have to work like one weekend every month or every 2 months. It depends on how many other dietitians are working with you. But like if you're in a specialty and you work in like an outpatient clinic or something like that, you rarely have to work weekends. And that's a big plus. It's usually just 40-hour weeks, Monday through Friday. All right, so now we can talk about some of the cons, in my opinion. And first we can do is the pay. So compared to other healthcare professionals, we have relatively low pay. And a lot of this has to do with a lot of our services that we provide are not reimbursable by insurance companies. So a lot of these organizations that hire dietitians, they have to pay our salaries pretty much out of pocket without being able to get reimbursed by insurance companies. So that's why we get paid a lot of times less than other healthcare professionals that get their services reimbursed. And the pay is kind of, I know a lot of dietitians complain about pay, but in my opinion, it's not that bad. But when you kind of look at how much it costs to go to school and how much it costs to do an internship, I can understand the argument that when you finally become a dietitian, your pay doesn't justify all the years of school and all the money that it took to become a dietitian. But to be honest with you, you can kind of say that for all professions, because college is just it's ridiculous with the prices, and it's going up every semester. My second con is the work can feel unchallenging. So like I said, one of the pros is that I feel like it's kind of easy to be a dietitian. This can be a benefit because you can start to get bored and it can kind of feel like it's getting repetitive. But one of the ways that you can pretty much curb this boredom is by maybe choosing another specialty that you know is going to be challenging. For me, that would be pediatrics, because pediatrics is just a whole nother field, especially when you're used to working with adults. Also, another con is the lack of responsibility and authority in a workplace. And this is the one that really frustrates me. So when I say lack of responsibility, it feels that even though you're a dietitian, you still have to ask permission to do stuff like diet changes. So in like a lot of hospitals, let's say a patient comes in, they're already on dialysis, they come in with fluid volume overload, high potassium levels, high phosphorus levels, and they put them on a regular diet. And you as a dietitian, you do your initial assessment and you see this and you're like, they would benefit more on a renal diet. Well, in a lot of hospitals, you can't, as a dietitian, you can't just switch their diet. You actually have to go through a physician and get their permission before you change your diet, which to me, it doesn't make any sense because we're the experts in diet and nutrition. Why do we have to go to somebody else to make that change? And here's another example. Like with me being a renal dietitian, some of our patients are eligible for protein supplements if their albumin or blood protein levels are too low. And it's just like Nepro, and we have one called Liquicell. And it's just, you know what I'm saying, something that's not even harmful. But in order for that patient to get on that supplement, I can't even put that order in the computer. I have to go to a nurse and they have to put the order in the computer to put them on a supplement. I can't even put my own patients on a protein supplement. And another thing, one of our responsibilities is vitamin D changes. So there's an algorithm that we follow according to like the patient's parathyroid hormone levels and calcium levels, and we make adjustments to the vitamin D if needed. Even though I'm responsible for vitamin D changes, I cannot put those orders in a computer to change the vitamin D, to increase the vitamin D or decrease the vitamin D. I have to write it out and then give it to a nurse so she can put it in. And I'm just like, well, what's the point, you know what I'm saying, of giving me this responsibility if I can't even put it in the computer? So that kind of frustrates me. Also, another con is competition with non-dietitians. As you'll see on social media, online, on YouTube, whatever, most of the nutrition information that's being put out are being put out by non-dietitians. And a lot of the information is not backed by science. And a lot of people that do meal preps, personal training and stuff that regard themselves as nutritionists are not dietitian, don't have any kind of formal training. So you're gonna have to compete with these people for clients, especially if you're doing if you have like a private practice. And my last con would be getting higher educated. So getting like a master's degree or getting like a specialty credential does not always equal to high pay. And for the most part, it doesn't equal to a high pay. So let's say you're a dietitian, you start off, you have your bachelor's degree or whatever. Let's say you decide you want to get your master's degree. It's not a guarantee that you're going to get a pay raise once you get your master's degree. Or let's say you're a clinical dietitian, you've been working in the ICU, you decide to take the test to become a certified nutrition support clinician. It's not a guarantee that once you get that specialty that you're going to get a pay raise. And also, it's not a guarantee that you're going to get more responsibility. Now, when you compare that to like another profession like nursing, if a nurse starts out as an LPN, then becomes an RN, not only are they going to get more responsibilities and more things that they can do, they're going to get a pay raise. And then once they become RN, if they decide, hey, I want to become a nurse practitioner, they're going to get paid way more, and also they're going to have a lot more responsibilities. They're going to be able to see their own patients, write prescriptions, and things like that. So them getting more education actually benefits them intellectually as well as financially. And as a dietitian, that's a lot of times that's not the case. And if you do get a raise, it's usually like $1 extra an hour. All right, and so those are my pros and cons. And my frustration of being a dietitian, my number one frustration is what I said, the lack of responsibility regarding aspects of nutrition. It frustrates me that I can't, you know what I'm saying? Here's another example. Let's say you work in clinical and a patient is on a regular diet, and you go in and you do your assessment and you notice that this patient doesn't have any teeth and is struggling eating a regular diet, and they would benefit more from a chopped diet. You're gonna have to get permission to put a patient on a chopped diet at a lot of places just to get their food chopped up, even though you may be a dietitian with a master's degree. And so that's my biggest frustration. I feel that all things regarding food and nutrition in an inpatient setting, outpatient setting, I think that should fall on our shoulders, and we should have 100% rights to control that as a dietitian. And so hopefully that answered your questions. My next video, I'm gonna talk about nursing, which was one of your questions. Should you go that nursing field? And so I talked to a nurse that I used to work with, and she gave me some good insight. So hopefully this video helped you out. Stay tuned to the next video. And if you're a nutrition student or a dietetic intern and you're concerned about passing the RD exam, feel free to join my Facebook group, RD Exam Prep, which will be down in the description. And this is where you can be part of a community that will answer any questions that you may have, as well as I provided free study guides, notes, and practice exams. And while you're at it, follow me on Instagram at EatRightGuy, and visit my website, EatRightGuy.com, where I post weekly blogs on nutrition and dietetics related topics.